Passion kindles, fortune told, blissful indulgence as the future unfolds. The weed on the shaft will all burn away with the surface's flameless as we say. There is a freedom rolling down. I can recall, bigger and higher. I can raise, but we lost in the when we lost in when we lost in Good afternoon. I have some bad news. You're just going to have to see me for the next hour. Troy Baker had to go home. Sorry. So I'm just going to do impressions for an hour. Yeah? Is that all right? Okay, folks, we know what you came here to see. Please put your hands together for the wonderful Troy Baker.
That's the best thing that I can possibly do on this stage right now is get all of you guys busking in here. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? Just all right. Did I say brave?
Brave! We'll have Brave. He's and tabs.
Of all of the randoms, Wonderwall.
Not Stairway! Play some Stairway!
Play Wonderwall. Guy wearing the Oasis t-shirt. I heart Liam. Is the one guy. Oh, I'm just playing.
So, welcome to ArcadeCon.
This is incredible. You guys are like rabbits. There was 2 people that walked in and then all of you.
We better check. At the VIP breakfast this morning, there were 4 Adams.
There were 4 Adams.
How many Adams have we got in the room?
They're
They've multiplied. Somebody poured water on an Adam.
But this is what's amazing. We only have one Eve.
Yeah.
So it doesn't end well for you, my dear. It does not end well for you. She's going to have quite the busy weekend.
Well, no, she has to make her pick, and they'll be chasing her, so she's sought after. She's like a rare collectible.
She's the amiibo from the amiibo. What I love is seeing all the Deadpools. It makes me both like very happy and incredibly uncomfortable. It's like, oh, you chose to be the craziest person ever. That, and there's also a girl here who is cosplaying as Joker, and she is bloody fantastic. Where are you, dear? Is she in here anywhere?
There.
Oh, maybe right in front of me. Okay, yeah. Amazing, amazing job. You did this. Something's wrong with you.
So, the way we're gonna do it here, folks, is I'm gonna ask one or two questions.
Such a beautiful segue.
I scared them actually, because for people who don't know, I am bald,
I know.
right?
He was like, "Hey, I hope you don't mind. I'm in cosplay." I'm like, "And you are?" I'm like, "Oh shit, it's you."
So I'm gonna, to stop not freaking people out, I'm gonna leave this here with the fez.
It's like a tribble.
So yeah, so hopefully it's not gonna multiply like a triple. So I'm gonna ask a few questions, and then we're gonna open it to the floor, because you guys probably have way more interesting questions than I do. I want to kick it off talking about easily, probably my favorite game of the last 10 years.
Binary Domain. Yes.
Yes, was the Last of Us.
Oh yeah. Yes.
That game raised the bar. There's people in Hollywood saw that game and went, "Oh God."
Oh, now we have to actually write a movie.
Yeah, it's like
not for The Last of Us, just in general. We have to actually start writing better.
Yeah, because the writing and obviously the acting in that game, it was beautiful. And the one thing that got me, I picked it up on the PS3, but I also picked up the remastered version for the PS4, and I loved when you guys got to act it out live on stage.
That was probably one of the greatest moments for me as an actor. Yeah, thank you. Woo! You. Oh, Adam number 2. Here's the thing that I think made The Last of Us so great. Neil would always tell this story that Neil Druckmann, creative director and the writer, I'll get that. It's probably for me. He said that we would shoot on average about once a month. We would typically rehearse on Wednesday, shoot Thursday and Friday. And typically around Friday, before or maybe Monday, if it was really coming in hot, is when we would get the scenes that we were going to shoot that week. And Neil said that every time he sent out those scenes via email, his hand was trembling to press send, because he knew that it was very daring what he was trying to do, what he was trying to accomplish. And he said that if his hand wasn't trembling, then it wasn't right. Because if it didn't cost him something, he obviously was being too safe. And this was the one thing that he didn't want to be safe on. And I respect that. And I think that's one of the things that made The Last of Us so great, is that there were so many risks that we were taking. It cost us so much. It cost Neil something. And I'm not talking about dollars. I'm talking about heart. I'm talking about it. It required much of all of us, from everybody. And that game doesn't rest on one person's shoulders, but fortunately, it rests on the many that work at Naughty Dog. It rests on Ashley Johnson. It was me. It was Jeffrey Pierce, who played Tommy. It was the entire cast and crew. And we all knew when we were doing it that we were making something great. And I heard an interview from a friend of mine, a fantastic actor named Stephen Tobolowsky, who said that if you ever hear an actor say on set, "We're having such a great time," they know that they're making a piece of shite. But if you see contention, if you see them like struggling, if you see them being frustrated, if you see them having not a good time, it's because they all know that they're making something great and they just want it to be the best that it can possibly be. And I've seen that happen on different things. And there was several times when we were shooting The Last of Us, there were several sources of contention. One of the most famous, if anybody has seen the Grounded documentary, is me talking about, spoiler, the Sarah scene, which you're just terrible. I mean, she's cosplaying as Sarah. Before, obviously.
In her PJs.
Yeah, she's not like a clicker version of Sarah. That would be terrible. Oh, come on. You all know you want to see it too. That's going to be on Sunday, I believe. Why didn't you let me? Anyway. But there's that scene, and Neil and I went back and forth about that, and I thought we had it, and we didn't. And it really speaks to the dedication and the perspective that Neil brought to all of the scenes that we were shooting, is for him to be able to step back and view everything in a holistic way and know that we need to go back and shoot literally the hardest scene that we had to shoot for the entire game. And he knew what that took for me, and it was the most beautiful moment possible. I think I needed that moment as an actor to be broken down and to strip away all the ideas and the preconceptions that I had of what that scene was supposed to be. So yeah, The Last of Us is something really near and dear to me. And there's a lot of people also that will come up to me like, do the voice of Joel. And I understand, because understand this, I'm a nerd first. And there's nobody in this room that has been nerdier than me, except for you, Adam, number 2. You one day I'll be there. But that's gonna be the running joke all weekend. So just let you know. But I've stood in the lines, and I've shaken the hands with, sweaty palms, and I don't know what to say, but you're amazing. So I've been that guy too, and I want to let you guys know tangentially that I'm always humbled, and always you guys are my fuel. You what stoke my fire, because if I'm doing my job right, I should be drained by the end of it. I should be exhausted, and typically I am. And we don't get a chance to really see the impact. We can see the sales figures, and we can get the awards and everything else, and people can tweet and say, love the game, but there's nothing like looking a fellow nerd in the eyes and I'm going, you have no idea what this thing has meant to me. Because I've been there too. So thank you, and I welcome those things, and it's more appreciated being a popular nerd. Thank you. Well, thank you. But when someone says, do the voice of Joel, I want you to understand this. I miss Joel. I love Joel. He's a real person to me. He's a dude, and there isn't a voice for Joel. There's just Joel. I know him as if I was, as if he was standing here in the room. And when someone says do the what? When someone says do the voice, it's like, let me tell you how that translates to me. It's like become him, be him. And it feels weird sometimes. So there's times when I'll be happy to do it, and there's other times when it's not, you can't pull that guy's string and have him come out. Does that make sense? Joker is fun. That's just like wind me up and watch me go. But the reason why I say this is because I was at a convention in Indiana last week, and somebody asked me, I was like, man, and he kind of gave me this look like, prima donna. I'm like, oh, no. You need to understand. It's like, I have to think about my daughter. I have to think about Ellie. I have to think about it. It's like, there's a guy, there's a real person there. So if you ever see me be weird about it, that's why I'm not a jerk. That's a real person to me.
It is a thing, and I've actually heard you say this in interviews on podcasts and before. People go, well, you're a voice actor. No, you're an actor. So you have to get into the frame of mind of the character. It's like they're method actors. Yeah. You have to get into the character. So can you do the voice of that character who lost his daughter, went through hell, survived the fungi zombie apocalypse? Just give us a line. Go on, give us a line. It's difficult and it's hard. I mean, The Last of Us for me is the only game where I get survivor's guilt from. I have to put the controller down and go.
Yeah, it's just give me a moment. I'm sorry. It's
like I feel bad that I can live my life while they're in there going, oh jeez.
Well, and to me that speaks again to the credit both of Neil and Bruce and everybody at Naughty Dog, is that they didn't just give us a game, they gave us characters and they gave us a world. And I know so many people that I get tweets or messages or emails or whatever from people telling me is like, I platinumed this game and I replayed this game and everything. I don't think I've seen more. I'm just I just want to hang out in the world of The Last of Us. I just want to spend time in Billstown. I just want to do this more than The Last of Us. It's really crazy. BioShock Infinite, obviously, there's a lot of replayability, and there's a lot of people that go back and maybe make different choices or go through it different ways. And that's
So everyone's a racist in Colombia.
That's true. It is a pretty. It's a pretty, and that's of course Ken Levine's thing is. I mean, Rapture was the same way. It's this dystopian world, and to me, BioShock, you have to play it twice because there's so much stuff that I'm a fairly intelligent person. There's even with Ken describing it to me, I'm like, what? I don't get it.
How many people do you have coming up to you at convention going, catch, and just throwing stuff
all
at
the
you?
time? It's always best though when I'm facing you. Just FYI, it's not catch. Oh God, there it is. And I honestly, I love playing that game too, or choosing the bird or the cage. Because to me, that's the little takeaway. It's like the "Would you kindly" that we got. That's whenever I hear someone say "Would you kindly," I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry. What did you mean?" Nerding out real quick. To me, that's the other reason why I think games are so important. Is we can watch a movie together, and I can start a quote from a movie, and you can finish the quote with me, and that's kind of cool. But there's nothing like comparing experiences or saying catch, and you and I both know what we're talking about, and sometimes nobody else in the room does. That's kind of a cool thing. It's the community, and I don't think there's anything more community than what games are, and that's why we're gamers, because we want to get lost in these worlds. We want to find ourselves in these worlds. I think that there's a lot of people that have found out things about themselves or have found words that they haven't had before through playing these games. Persona. I mean, you wouldn't believe how many people have come up to me and said, "Thank you, Kanji," because now I have the words, I have the understanding, and understand this. I have my own feelings on kanji, and Atlas never came out fully and said this. I did, and they didn't, strike me down for saying so. But to me, we all have that shadow version of ourselves that we run from, that we're afraid of, that we feel burdened by, or that we feel trapped by. And I think that Persona did such a great job of forcing us in a really allegorical way to confront our own shadow versions of ourselves. And you can get that in a show, you can get that in a movie, but you can't get it the way that you can when you spend hours upon hours playing as and playing with and experiencing the lives of these characters. You just can't do it. So that's why we're gamers. And a girl came up to me again at another convention, and she said, "Thank you for BioShock, because I was going through really, really dark time, and that game really just kind of was an escape for me." And I was like, "It wasn't an escape. You weren't escaping to or from anything. That was, if nothing else, let those two characters serve as a reminder that if they can get through it." And first of all, I said, "Did you finish the game?" She was like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Then you did better than a lot of people. That last airship battle is hell." Absolute hell, I remember texting one of the designers, and I'm like, "Is my game broken? Because I'm pretty good." And he was like, "Well, what are you doing?" I was like, "Well, I've got the Patriots over here, Songbirds flying around here, and I am lighting up the world, and I'm just getting owned on this game." And he goes, "We have Undertow, right?" I'm like, "Oh no, I never powered that up." It was like, "Oh, that's the one vigor that you really need." Thanks. Yeah, we designed it. I'm like, again, thanks for making choice a complete illusion. It's very meta. But I said, those two people got through that. You finished the game. I said, "Did you finish?" He's like, "Yeah, I platinumed on 1999. I'm like, "Well, you're a freak." But it's like, you made it through. If you can make it through that, you can make it through school. You can make it through your parents. You can make it through the boyfriend or the girlfriend. You can make it through anything. That's right. So I don't think that games are just an escape for us to disappear from the world in 40 hours. I think that games are a way for us to find the fight that is inside of all of us. And I mean, I'm speaking to a room full of Irish. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in like the brawling sense that you want to go milling about. I mean,
I'll wait till you see the bar later.
yeah, right? But you guys are fighters. You're fighters. You stand for what you believe in, more than I think anybody else in the world. So I'm sorry, this is me. This is like
we did get very
get
deep.
into it.
We'd like, but that is the thing about the video games nowadays. They like some people do like video games, but you've proven that the games that you've been in, which have been many, that they're at another level now.
I think so.
Like like you have games that they pump millions into,
Right.
but you see it in the game. I mean, Last of Us, BioShock, Persona, the whole lot of them. There's so much in there, and to have world-class actors like yourself doing characters like that shows that there's oomph behind them. Do you feel that sometimes that they deserve more recognition? Do you think that the people are too quick to dismiss them as an art form?
You know, it's so funny because I remember Roger Ebert. He was one of the front runners of saying blatantly that video games aren't an art form, and maybe I've just kind of, been tempered over the years. I used to get really mad at it. I was like, I'm gonna tweet him like he's never been tweeted before, and I'm gonna shake up the world, and you need to recognize this as an art form, and the Oscars need to have something. Those stories are the Oscars. Those stories are the accolades. Those stories, the vacation, the validation, the blue play, those experiences. I was having a great conversation with my wife, which we do every once in a while. And I said, she's an amazing photographer. And I said, I want to caution you because I got a really hard lesson when I started chasing the wrong thing. It's like, never allow your art to serve you. You serve your art, and that is it. Don't ever ask for it to give back to you. If Michelangelo had looked at the David and said, make me feel valid as an artist, he's not doing he's doing a disservice to his art. His art would be all of the people for generations, centuries that circle around it and are captivated by it and have their own takeaway from it. That is his art. So the stories that you guys tell me when I play, the experiences that I have, that is my art, but not what I make. What I make is what I have to do or I'm going to explode. But the reason why I think that games have gotten so much better and the quality and the production level and the performances and the writing have gotten better, it's not because all of a sudden the light bulb went off inside of the developers and they started making better games. It is because we as gamers have demanded it. We don't care if we can't care. If you don't give us the opportunity to have agency and be invested and really be captivated, we're not going to play it. We don't care. We'll play our, Candy Crush or whatever because everybody has to poop. We're stuck on the metro or something. But if we're going to spend our money, which is in not abundant supply these days, and you're going to make us choose, I'll either get this game or I'll get this game because I can't afford both of them. You better engage me. And I think that I think also that we have a new generation of people that are making games who grew up playing games like Eve, Shadow of the Colossus, or not Eve, but Eco. And some games that were really Battlefront, like the original Star Wars games, and some of the games that people are like, one of these days I'm going to make a video game and it's going to be awesome. These are the people that are now making games. And I remember Neil meeting Kojima when Kojima was like, "You made a great game." He was like, "You made a great game," And that's someone who literally learned to speak English by playing games. King's Quest is one of the main things that taught So he speaks in a very weird way, which I always give him crap for.
That explains Metal Gear
It
scripts.
it does. He speaks with exclamation points constantly.
He starts conversations like,
But, and yells for no reason. It'll just be like, lunch! Snake!
I know we don't have the next installment of Metal Gear yet, but how was it to work on such an iconic title?
So terrifying.
And quite an iconic character. There's an Ocelot.
There's an Ocelot in every game, yeah. You're pretty good. You know, here's what I love is, you know, David had it rough because he's been Snake. You know, there's very few people inside of games that have that a mantle of a character has rested on their shoulders for so long. You got David Hayter, Charles Martinet, who plays Mario and Luigi and everybody inside the Mario world. There's not a lot of those people. And, you know, we sat down and talked with David after, you know, the whole kerfuffle came up about, you know, the new Snake and everything. And it's this real, you know, mixed blessing curse with David, because he saw the overwhelming response of people that were like, David Hayter is my Snake. And then also like the lamentation of not being able to do it, but then understanding why, all these different things. And so it's, again, that's speaking from the community, that you have such support for an actor, whereas, you know, 5-10 years ago, nobody knew. It's like, what do you mean those are people that are actually doing those characters? They just like CGI'd everything. You know, this is my voice and I am the hero. You know, so, but I'll say this: when I came in, and obviously I knew what it was. I have a great relationship with the performance director, Chris Zimmerman, who's incredible. And she said, I think you would be right for this. I think you could do this. I'm like, ooh, man, really? Because this is the ego talking. I'm always waiting for the next thing that's going to destroy me. Ego, man. And I remember when, segue, walking into an audition and having no idea what I'm auditioning for. Is a character called Jack. Yeah, some of you know where this is going. And I go into the booth. They're not even handing you sides beforehand, because it's just like the super top secret. So I walk in, they're like, just take a second to review the material. And typically I don't do that, because I've learned about myself. This drives Laura Bailey crazy, by the way. Laura Bailey and I have sat next to each other, not auditioning for the same role, obviously, but like auditioning together. And they give her the materials to review. And I go, cool. I put it down, and she'll... I mean, do you want me to run lines with you? I was like, no. She goes, what did you do? I said, I just kind of skimmed it for any weird words. And then I put it down. She was like, why? I was like, because if I think about it too much, I will inevitably screw it up. Like if somebody did the good writing, all I have to do is read it. And now that's me. There's a lot of people that are like, I need the materials. I need to sit with it. I need to like put it in a sleeping bag and let's go out to the wilderness together and find each other, smoke peyote. I don't know. But for me, it's like the more and more I think about it, if I can get out of my own way, then I can speak from it in an honest place, because I haven't contaminated it with my own ideas. So I look at these things. I'm like, all right, let's just skim through this real quick. I'm like, that's from the animated. That's from Arkham Asylum, and that's the monologue from The Killing Joke. I went, so I think I know who this is. And they're like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, how do you know that? Because I'm like, I know the material. And it never says Batman. It never says anything. It's just I know those scenes. I know what the guy is. And they're like, okay, well, are you comfortable? I'm like, yeah. She's like, do you want to start from the top? Which was a scene from, I think, Arkham Asylum. I was like, no. I said, can we just go ahead and skip to like page 7? She's like, which one's that? I was like, the monologue here. And she's like, you sure you want to start with that one? I'm like, yeah, because I have one shot at this. And if I'm going to blow it, at least I'm going to go out doing something that I've always wanted to hear. So before you can kick me out of this room for sucking, I'm going to do this. And we went into it, and about halfway through, this Scottish just bear of a man comes barreling through the room, and he comes in and he goes, "Did I miss it?" He's like, "I'm sorry, Troy, just give us 1 second. Did you miss what?" He was like, "I just want to make sure I didn't miss Troy." She's like, "He's in the booth right there." I'm like, "This is all very good. Everything that's happening right now is very good." So anyway, I'll wrap it up. So I leave the audition, and that's it. I don't think about it anymore. A couple weeks later, it's Comic-Con time, and I sit down with a friend of mine who's working on the game, and he goes, "Come have a pint with me up in the Gaslamp district, which is where all the bars are." And so we went up there, and he said, "Just to let you know, you're about to get a call." I'm like, "Oh, for what?" He's like, "They're going to want you to be the Joker." And I went, "Oh, no. No. And I'm like, "I don't know, man. I mean, I kind of got a thing going right now where, I've got this Lego Batman deal going." And, and I was like, are you sure? Because I mean, and Mark for sure has said, he's like, "Yeah, Mark's done. He's not going to do it anymore. He's carried it for 25 years, and we would love to keep him going well into his 80s. I think he's about to start doing a new movie, some indie space thing." But he said, "I just want to let you know, is like, if you want to meet with the producer on it, you should." And we didn't get a chance to meet up, and sure enough, they call, and they're like, "So we'd like to present this offer to you to play the role of this and this, code, whatever." And I said no. And then I got a call from the producer. I was like, "Come meet me." Like, "Yeah, really, come meet me. Come meet me." And so I met him up at Warner Brothers, and he goes, "I want to show you something. And they had filmed my audition. And so I went back through and I watched it. I'm like, started critiquing. I was like, "Oh, I could have done that better, and that's weird." And I realized very quickly that me doing the Joker, I make the weirdest faces. Nothing cool at all. Everyone's like, "You should do the Joker live action." I'm like, absolutely not. I look like I have multiple sclerosis. I spit everywhere. It's just not pretty. And he finishes watching the audition, and he goes, "That's our guy." I'm like, "I just don't know." He goes, "That's our guy. If we think that, get over yourself." And I was like, "I'm just, here's the thing, man. I'm afraid that, Mark has done such a great job over the years, and I don't want to make the game bad." And he goes, "I don't think that you could single-handedly take down 75 years of Batman history. And we're making a really good game.
You're not Joel Schumacher,
yeah,
so it's okay."
Yeah. There's Joel Schumacher could even break Batman. Dear Jesus. So George Clooney, I've got this great idea. I'm going to give Batman his own credit card. Dark Knight. I mean, we still are able to make it. So anyway, it goes to show that a lot of times, your own way, and surround yourself with really, really talented people, they will elevate you to a place that you never thought you could be. So, did I answer in any way your question?
You did.
Oh, good.
Have you met?
Oh, you're
Mark?
still here.
I'm still here. Have you met Mark?
Hey,
Have you met Mark Hamill?
I have.
And had he seen or heard any of your Joker?
The last time that I saw Mark, I was really weird about talking to him about it too, because he and I have had long conversations, because we worked together on Arkham City, and we worked together in a couple of different things. Yeah. And we talked specifically when the rumor came out that he wasn't going to do it anymore, and he was like, "Yeah," he goes, I don't think anybody could have ever asked to have such a great honor to not only hold on to a character for so long, but also for it to be the Joker. And to Mark, that's one of the greatest literary characters that we have. I mean, he puts it up there with like Richard III, and it's a really incredible character, and it's been obviously very impactful to culture. But he said, and we had Under the Red Hood, which is one of my favorite like Batman animated movies. Yeah, for a lot of reasons. But I was with John DiMaggio plays the Joker in that, and has some of the greatest one-liners as the Joker ever. You've seen it, right? Yeah. Okay, so when he's sitting there and he's eating the crackers during his entire interrogation. He goes, "May I have some water, please?" And he puts the water and he kills the guy. Everything is like, first of all, I'm going to need some new guys, not these guys, because they're dead. I was like, I'm in. But I was with DiMaggio when he found out that he got the role. We were sitting at this bar in Hollywood, and he's playing it cool. He's like, okay, yeah, absolutely. I'll be there 9 a.m. 9 a.m. All right, thank you so much. Cool. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. It's like, what? He goes, I'm going to be the Joker. I'm like, holy crap. Holy crap. What are you going to do? And it's the same conundrum that everybody gets. The same thing that I felt. It's like, I don't want to screw this up. And Mark was so gracious. He was like, I love what Johnny did. I think John did a great job as the Joker. And I found out, and I'm glad that there was like a buffer. The first time I ever worked with Mark was on Avengers, and he didn't say 2 words to me until the very end. And I was walking out, and he goes, "Hey, kid." And I turned around, I was like, he goes, "You got a hell of a set of pipes on you." And I went, well, I can die. That's pretty much the coolest thing. But then I found out through some of our friends at Warner Brothers that he actually watched a lot of stuff we did through Origins and also Assault on Arkham. He's like, I knew that kid. I knew that kid had it, and he was very flattering. So that's the best I could ever ask for. I love it when you guys say they did a good job, but I'm not. Mark Hamill telling me I did okay. Wow. So,
speaking of your pipes, I don't know if anyone noticed the music we were playing before we started, but that was your album.
Yeah, man. Thank you for playing that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
So, clearly multi-talented, like crazy.
I have 2.
Like you brought the guitar.
I did.
And
was that a gasp that I just heard? It's not a golden lute or anything. It's just a guitar.
Like the Pied Piper running through arcade con.
Yeah.
But like the album is fantastic.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely fantastic. Has anyone listened to it? Does anyone listen to it?
All right, very cool.
It is available to buy.
I love it.
Online.
We literally the last of the CDs. That sounds weird, right? So we did a very limited run. So I didn't know, and I made this album because I had to make it, and fortunately, fate allowed me to work with some incredibly talented people and make a project and make an album that we're all really, really proud of. And it may not be your cup of tea, who knows? But it's something that I put every bit of my heart into. And the end result of it, through a lot of hard work, and I joke and I say I found a lot of ways to not make a record, or the wrong ways to make a record. But the end result, because of the people that I was fortunate enough to work with, and musicians that are far too good for me, we made this really great record. And it's a record. I think that's a lost art. Not a lot of people who remembers like 33s. All right, 2 of us. Well, I'll be going now. Back in the day, you bought vinyl, and you had a 33, a 45, or a 78, and a 33 was a standard record. And there was an A side and a B side, meaning after like 18 to 20 minutes or whatever, that A side the needle was going to cross over to the other side. And you had to, if you wanted to continue listening to the record, you had to walk over, pick up the needle, put it on its resting place, pick up the platter, turn the record over, and repeat the process. And then hey, what'd you say? I didn't quite get that. He said something about mold.
I think so.
You might want to have the vents checked. So there I was. Yeah. I pooped again. That's the second time since I've been sitting here, too. And I don't know who's the custodian, but you're going to have a mess to clean up. It started sleeping right at the back. Yeah, I don't know what that is. That's cool. And I love that he pointed out the obvious. You must be old. You must be clearly. But no, but that's like there was like this interactive thing, and maybe that's why I got into games is because there's this. I like things that are interactive that require this partnership. And if you wanted to listen to that record, that's what you did. You didn't like put it on as you're doing other things. You're like, I'm going to listen to the White Album. I'm going to listen to Dark Side of the Moon. And that's the kind of record that I wanted to make. Yeah, you could. It's fun to kind of put it on the back, or you can like drop the top and drive in sunny weather for like 3 days out of the year. Have fun. But it's also something that it's really cool to just throw on some headphones and just disappear for like 44 minutes, and it plays like a record. So yeah, you guys honor me by the hoops and the hollers and everything. If you don't have it, we've got a few left here that I'd love to put it in your hands. Cool.
Okay, we are going to open it to questions on the floor. We're going to have staff with microphones going around, and so if we could get a staff member on either side of the room.
You say you have a staph infection?
Yes.
I got some pills for you.
I'm not even going to try to do voices next to Troy Baker. So.
Who's Troy Baker?
Okay, can we turn the house lights up? Because I can't see a damn thing. My eyesight's gone. That's how old I am.
Mold?
All week.
Okay, all right. This lady's jumping out of her seat. She either needs to pee or she has a question.
She needs to. Just go in your drawers, darling. That's what I do. It's far easier.
We got volume on the mic?
Yeah.
Oh, she's about to drop some mad beats. She's like, and here I go again.
Could you say I am bioterrorist? I eat children and kittens.
Are there going to be a lot of requests for lines? I think the general line of what actors are, I'm not a performing monkey. So maybe he is. I don't know.
Baby wants his banana. You added something on that. I am not a bioterrorist. Oh. Yeah. I mean, this is being filmed. It's not real. None of it's real. Is that the live stream?
That's the live stream.
Hello, live stream. Hello. I am a bioterrorist. I eat children and kittens.
There you go. Okay, we have another question here.
Hi, Troy.
Hello.
Welcome to Ireland. Again.
Thank you very much, man.
Just want to know, one of the biggest games, one of my favorite games, it's not even out yet. It's, of course, Metal Gear Solid 5.
2 more months, you're going to be okay.
No, I just want to know, after looking at the gameplay footage and the trailers that featured you, I just want to know how you got into the role of being Ocelot, because you're a dead ringer for Patrick
Zimmerman.
Yeah,
man. Well, Chris Zimmerman has been with the Metal Gear franchise since the beginning, pretty much. And she is, first of all, it helps when you're a fan of the games, and maybe that's the edge that I have is that as a gamer, I at least have some shorthand some of the times with the developers. So I'm like, oh no, this is referencing this. And they're like, how do you know that? I'm like, I remember, and if you clearly in episode 3, it helps to be a gamer to understand kind of the context of what you're operating inside of. So clearly I knew who Ocelot was, but Ocelot is not exactly the most character. So he's been with you, he's been against you, he's been killing you, he's been saving you throughout the entire franchise. So I was like, what are we doing here? And so Chris was really, really great, and Kojima as well was really great as far as like, this is who we need Ocelot to be in this story. I did not anticipate it looking like me as much, so that was pretty cool. And the first time that Kojima showed me, he knew. He was like, Troy-san. I'm like, oh, psycho days, psycho days. Anyway, you're pretty good. Thank you, man. Sure.
Hello.
Okay. If you can stand up if you want.
All right. First off, thanks for being such a great actor and all.
Cheers, man. Thank you. Thank you.
What is your out of all the characters you voiced,
Mhm.
who was the most enjoyable or most memorable that you've ever done?
Those are definitely two different distinctions. No worries. Enjoy the next 72 hours. Yeah. You all put that in your mind and let it go where you wanted it to go.
Welcome to Arcade Con.
You know, it's you would think by now that I have like a pat answer. I'll tell you what my favorite character is. I don't have one. I don't have an answer for that. And I think there's something unique about, at least I try to where there's something unique about every character, so that for one reason this guy becomes my favorite. And you have to find something to enjoy about it, because if you don't, it's just miserable. You know, being like Soldier A in Call of Duty is not going to be the most soul rewarding thing that you do, but the fact that you're in a game is fun, like a game respect, Call of Duty. And Call of Duty was very demanding up into Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare was like a completely different thing. But I mean, I yelled, "Get down, RPG, he's over there, Tango down," more times than anybody in their life ever should. And literally, I mean, it's like all of us that did that, we left bits of ourselves on the floor, because it's brutal. And what's crazy is, if you talk to anybody who's been in war for a long amount of time, they talk differently. They've got a little bit more of a rasp in their voice. And it's because they've yelled for so long. And that's why like you talk to Steve Bloom and he's like, "Down here." He defines what deep is, you know? Guy sounds like he swallowed a lawnmower. I love Steve. And that comes through. Steve was like a tenor back in the day. So I mean, this thing is grueling. It's like doing stunts. And if you've ever like seen an old stunt man, I mean, they move very slowly and deliberately because their bodies have taken so much abuse and damage. So when you're in that kind of situation, it's too hard. Like we've been talking about Joel and what that's meant to me, being Booker DeWitt in a BioShock game was really, really huge. And playing the Joker, but then also Kanji. So it's like I could go down the list and never be able to choose. But just know that for one reason, and a very distinct, unique reason, every character that I've had the opportunity to be has become my favorite for that specific reason. Cool? Thanks, man. Yep.
Hi, Troy.
Hello.
How's things?
Hello.
Stand up.
Stand to be recognized. Shoot him.
My question is, would you ever like to get back into the Persona series by starting a new character, or by come back Psychonaut or Kanji?
Oof. Man, that was one of the hardest things to walk away from. And I'm very fortunate that my good buddy Matt Mercer was able to slide in there and not do, hey? He does. And to me, that's not Matt trying to sound like me. That is Matt being able to sound like Kanji. Does that make sense? Matt's not doing me. Matt's doing Kanji, and he's doing his own thing on it. And people get really pissed off at me. They're like, "Why'd you walk away from Persona?" I was like, dude, we were on our honeymoon. And I love Persona, but I'm not married to Persona. I'm married to my wife. And production schedules on anime specifically are the turnaround is so fast. I'm like, guys, I can't hold you up. I know you need to get this out. So I gotta walk away. And fortunately I had Matt come in and do just a bang up job. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's the same thing. You know, I look, again, I use this reference a lot. There's a lot of actors that have played King Lear, a lot of actors that have played Richard III. And I don't think you ever own a character. I just think you're fortunate enough to be a custodian of it for a while. And all you can do is protect and care for that role as much as possible, and in some way leave your mark on that character, that maybe someone else will learn something new about the character that they've never learned. That's why with the Last of Us movie, people are like, "Do you not want to play Joel?" I'm like, absolutely not. I'd love to just experience Joel from a different perspective, and that'll be a different kind of medium. And I don't care what actor gets to play Joel, as long as it's someone who really, really cares about the story and really, really gets it. And either way, I win, because either they show me a side of someone that I love so deeply, they introduce me to something new about him, or they suck. And people are like, only Troy can play Joel. I'm like, yay! So it's a win-win for me either way. But yeah, I would, one day, who knows, man, I'd love to be able to come back to Kanji. But if not, as long as that character is best represented, that's what matters most to me.
Do you think a Last of Us movie is needed, considering how deep that game was and how cinematic that game was?
Needed is a strong word. I think that it would be interesting if any movie was going to do it, like Assassin's Creed. Who knows if that movie will ever come out? Well, they've announced his release. No, they don't know if that movie's ever going to get made. There've been a lot of failed movies from adaptations of video games. Of course, the one that is probably the most important and most meaningful is the Mario Brothers movie. It's the worst. I can only imagine what that looked like. It's like, so, Bob Hoskins, we want you to play Mario. I'm not going to play this. We have these pictures of you. I'll play the movie. Here's the thing. Again, if it does well, and it'll be presented well, but it's about how it's received. If it's received well, great, because I believe in that story, and regardless of how good and how attainable and how compelling playing the game is, there are just some people who will never pick up a controller, much less go out and buy a PS4 to play that game and experience it that way. We have Let's Plays now, which I think are a little bit more, they can bring you into a game more. But there's still just a level of removal because it's passive. You're not actually making those choices. And I believe there's so much about that experience that the fact that you walk into the operating room and have the choice whether or not to shoot the doctors, that's a part of the experience for me. And when you're just watching it, it's more of a passive thing. But if it isn't received well, if it doesn't come across, if it doesn't have the same oomph that the game does, I think that says something. I think that's incredibly important, because maybe that story can't be told in a film. So yeah, I think either way it's important. So I support the movie either.
I mean, I think with the live action acting out on stage of the scenes for the remastered release, I think that proves that it is a viable option.
Yeah.
It is definitely, because I mean, they just have to get the right actors. And the writers and the director has to appreciate the story and the approach.
And I think also it would have to be it's going to be different if they do it. Because I think Neil's going to ask for that, because he's already written it, scored it, performed it, shot it, lit it, everything, edited it. So why you don't want to just do that again? He was like, we've already done that. That's like whatever everything else is happening right now in Hollywood, where we're just remaking movies. He's like, we don't want to remake this. We want to do a film adaptation of the story. So and invariably it's 12 to 14 hours. You can't do that as a movie. You'd have to scale it down, so a lot of things would get cut out. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to look like. And honestly, I need to talk to Neil about that, because I don't know where they're at with it right now. Who knows?
Next question, if you could stand up. We will get to most of you guys. We have got time, so don't worry. So we're going to go with the lady first, and then we'll go with yourself, okay?
Oh, I thought they were going to duel. That was going to be really cool.
I'm up for that. So my question is, you've done some truly amazing, iconic characters over the years, but are there any characters that you haven't gotten to play that you wish you had?
I get asked that a lot. And I can always look at characters and go, oh, I wish I would have played this. But if it's something that has already happened and I like it, I wouldn't want to be the thing that came in and screwed it up, because maybe I like that character because of the person, and I never want to think that I can do a better job than somebody else. Unless it's like Assassin's Creed games, and I'm just sitting there the entire time going, come on, and I'm not pointing any specific characters out, Ubisoft. But I mean, there's always some of those characters you're like, where did you find this person? So I don't know. I think that like John Marston was such a cool character, and I look at that and go, I want to be kind of that guy. Because a lot of people are like, well, he and Joel are very similar. I'm like, no, I see so many differences between the. We're talking about Red Dead, right? I really thought they were going to announce a Red Dead 3 or 2, but it's really 3. Red Dead Redemption 2 at E3, and they didn't. But again, that's a perfect example because I love that character so much because of what that actor brought to it. And thank God he's out of the business because that guy's really talented, and I feel like I'd lose a lot of jobs to him. But he's like a rancher now in Wyoming. He's like, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm like, oh, you sure? There's a bus you could take and get out of here right now. I thought he
Red Dead.
Hey,
He's literally living Red Dead. He's sitting on a ranch somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, unfortunately, the character John Marston is spoiler. Have you not played it? Eamon, have you not played Red Dead?
It's okay. Hang on. No.
No. This is why we're a community.
Yeah.
Because instead of going, how dare you, it's like, oh, bro, you got to play this game. I mean, okay, so show of hands who has played Red Dead. Okay. Keep your hands up. Eamon, put your hand down. Now, the thing that I love most about Red Dead is that's a game that I would just pop in as like, okay, I've got 30 minutes. Well, I'm just going to go kill a bear. I just want to go check out this sunset or whatever. Those are what that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about when you just want to spend time inside of a world versus like following quests. And I think that if GTA is the same way, I like open world games that truly, Shadow of Mordor was the same thing for me. I loved playing that game so much just to spend time. It's like, I'm just going to go give an orc a bad day.
Who doesn't love that?
Yeah. What's that? Sure. And I think that's the whole point, is you're supposed to have fun with it.
Okay, next question?
Yep.
Oh, this gentleman here. Yep. Go ahead.
I just want you to know, I very much enjoyed Red Dead as well, and especially Undead Nightmare.
That was fun, yeah.
Also, I just want to ask, do you still see yourself playing the Joker in the near future, like say next 10 years or something?
Dude, here's the thing that shows me how remarkable and truly talented Mark is. Like when we were either recording for Origins or when we did Assault on Arkham or this new one that's coming out, Monster Mayhem, it is hard. And there was time on Origins where typically they book you for 4 hours to come in and do your thing. And there was times when it was like 2 hours in that Amanda Wyatt, our director, would be like, I got to pull you. It's sounding weird. I'm like, yeah. She's like, it's just, you hear the exhaustion. It's hard. But then you look at Mark, and Mark can just like his laughs too. Like my laughs, first of all, were the hardest thing for me to do. I could do a lot of stuff, but I couldn't laugh. Like the only job I've ever gotten fired for. Now, who watched Brotherhood? Okay. So I played Greed, right? Funny story. I was originally cast as Greed in Full Metal, and went in for my first session with Mike McFarlane, one of the first sessions I ever did at Funimation. And 30 minutes into this session, we're still on the first line. And the first line was when Greed first shows up, and his first cue is 30 seconds of, I remember this perfectly, building maniacal laughter. Building maniacal laughter. And I sounded like a dolphin having an asthma attack. Or like a chipmunk having the weirdest orgasm. It was terrible, terrible, terrible. And nothing, and I was like, I can't do this. And Mike ended up saying, is like, why don't you go and step out of the booth, man? I was like, oh, this sucks. And I'd drive home and I was like, building maniacal, I can't do it, beating the steering. And cut to many years later where they're like, oh, you're going to play a character whose main thing is that he laughs. And there's sometimes when I think, Life thrusts some things upon you that you really, really want, but again, it costs you something, and it's going to stretch you in ways that you don't think you're in anywhere prepared for, or that you don't have the tools, you're not equipped for it at all. And sometimes you'll find out when you get into that situation, you're prepared. You're a lot more prepared than you think you are. And if you'll just trust the people that are around you, and you'll allow yourself to make an ass out of yourself, and to really throw yourself onto the risk, that it'll reward you in ways you never thought possible. And that was one of those things for me. So I would love to stay with the Joker. I hope that that my voice and everything can sustain it. I want to do the mocap. I want to do the full performance capture for the Joker, because like with Origins, because Batman is 6'7", like the model of Bruce Wayne and Batman is 6'7", you can't find a guy typically that's like that. And for like Kevin's a very tall guy, but there's so much stunt work that's involved. Typically, they just use some great stunt actors in either the UK or in Canada to do that work for him. So they would actually record me and then play it back on the stage, and the guy that did the Joker performance capture, the mocap, would like mimic what I did and kind of interpret it in his own way. So it was a really kind of cool partnership that he and I had between the two. And I actually got to meet him later. I was like, "You did a good job." He's like, "You did a good job." I got some notes for you though. But I would love, more than doing it in a movie, that would be my gig. That would be my jam. If I could do like the mocap for the Joker, it'd be fun.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question.
Sure. All right. Cool.
Okay, so
we got all weekend. Don't worry.
We're gonna go with the rabbit. But Troy will be. You have a signing. There's gonna be an hour break, and then you've got your signing.
Yeah.
And everyone can come to the signing, chat to him, get stuff signed. Pick up a CD.
Yep.
Everything. He's gonna be around. So don't fret. But we'll go with the rabbit.
Hi, I was just wondering, like, as a gamer, what game or that you've acted in or not acted in has gotten to you most, like maybe made you cry or something?
That's easy. Every time, whether I'm watching a video or if I'm playing through it, and I've played through it now 3-4 times, Candy Crush. When you finally get there, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. It's just, that was perfect timing. It would be The Last of Us. I can't get through. I'll never forget. There was a rap party that we had, or a launch party that we had. And towards the end of it, Neil takes Ashley and I out. He's like, "Come out to my car real quick." And so we come out there and he goes, "It's the first copy that I've given out." And he gave us our copies of the game. And so something that we had spent almost 3 years of our life working on was finally, we're like, "Oh, this is it." And we thought it was gonna be fake, and you open it up and there's like, like a cardboard disc or whatever in there. And Ashley and I looked at each other, was like, we gotta, are you cool with coming over? And it was like already like 1 o'clock in the morning or something. That was super late. I was like, "Let's come over and let's just pop it in real quick." And I'll never forget seeing that logo come up, and Ashley and I are looking at each other going, "There's no way this is our game." And it's a Naughty Dog game. It goes to black, and then it opens up, and we were just kind of like, this is the first time we'd really seen it. And to see our names starring Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker is the first time I've ever seen that in a game. And to play through that, and we only played through the prologue, and we're just a wreck at the end of it, an absolute wreck, and we're hugging each other. "I'm proud of you, I'm proud of you." Ugly cry. It wasn't pretty, it was just awkward. That's a moment that I don't know if we'll ever be able to recreate it, and I don't know, that's like a deathbed moment, because as a gamer and as an actor, I just remember, if I could just be in a Naughty Dog game. I just wanted to die. I wanted to be a red shirt that Nate Drake killed, It's all I wanted. That's all I want to do, fall off a cliff. And then to be in not only, the co-lead of a game like that, but a game like that, and to work with, Ashley Johnson has forever changed my life, and she's in my heart. She's that's my girl. And how much personally, like, that game changed all of our lives. I don't know. I could go on and on and on about it. Where did you go? I feel like you disappeared. There you are. Okay. So yeah, that's a game that every time, huh?
Thank you for breathing.
Oh, yeah.
Keep that up.
I keep forgetting to do that sometimes. You'll just kind of see me go, breathe. Right. Thank you. Anyway, again, I'm a relatively fun guy. Bringing up mold again. But again, it's you guys. It means so much to me when I hear these words. So that's sometimes when I don't get melancholy, I don't get sad or anything, or don't get too deep or take myself too seriously, because I can take the mick out of anything. But I love talking about this. I love talking these things. So thank you for even caring and for showing up and sitting in this room and hearing me jabber on a bit about something that I really, really love. Thank you. Thank you.
Folks, like I said, we're going to take a break for about an hour, and then Troy's going to be able to do signings. And you can chat more, ask more questions, talk away. But ladies and gentlemen, Troy Baker.
Thank you guys very, very much. Thank you.